Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Jellyfish, Andrew Lau. All right. Jellyfish measures where engineering time actually goes. 5 years out, with agents writing most of the code, what is the human still doing? Are humans twiddling their thumbs? What's Jellyfish's role in this change that people probably didn't anticipate, thought we're 90 years away, is now 5 years in?
Like, AI is the most important thing we've seen in 3 careers. And coding is probably the most visible manifestation of how much things are actually changing. So you're right. The nature of an engineer is dramatically changing. We are not spending our time coding anymore. We are not spending our time reviewing each other's code anymore. So the nature of what we do is shifting, not incrementally, step function. So slide forward a few years, what are we doing? We're orchestrating. In some ways, every single engineer has to quickly change from, instead of being an engineer and having a manager tell them what to do, every engineer is suddenly a manager. They're a manager of agents. We are orchestrating what's actually happening. When coding is no longer the challenge, you're dispatching agent this, agent that, but you need them to make something coherent. You've got to dispatch and coordinate these things. Where Jellyfish fits in here now is, how do we actually get visibility to orchestrate what's actually happening in all of this chaos? That's what's changing.
Okay, so you led engineering at Endeca before this wave, this AI wave that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And vibe coding, the term, it's like 18 months old, I think. A generation on, does building software still mean the same thing? And what should survive of the craft?
I think it's actually clarifying. So yes, the lingua franca has changed. I was trained in C, learned my way in Java. Those are irrelevant today.
Cobol. No.
Oh, there you go. Bring it back. But it's no longer about actually working those tools. In fact, we have a whole new set of tools. The lingua franca of today is nothing like it was even 3 years ago. But the goal of what we're doing is still the same. We're making things. We're helping customers, helping people do something. So in some ways, it clarifies our time. We're critically thinking about what actually has to happen. That actually endures. In fact, it clears out all the rigmarole of the stuff that is software engineering. It suddenly makes everyone a maker here.
So what are you putting in the foundations now that builders use a century from now without knowing our names?
Hot take? It's the same conversation. We're all makers now. We've taken away the need to actually understand how these tools fit together, but we do have to critically think around, what am I trying to achieve? Who am I trying to achieve this for? What is software meant to do? When you no longer have to worry about how hard it is to make it, you have to figure out, what am I making? So that probably held 100 years ago, whether you're working in stone, wood, or metal. It still holds today. It's just the lingua franca changed, and we are now have to be more focused, more critically thinking about, why are we doing what we do? What do we do? Who do we do it for? So I think that endures, and in fact, it enhances over time, and we should all work hard to make sure that happens.
So these agents that your software folks are working with, is it a 1-to-1? Is it 1 to 1,000? Is it 1 to 250,000? When people sleep, are the agents working? Tell us where we are now, and where do you think, extrapolate, where do you think that's going?
Right now, I think the avant-garde developers are doing 1 to 5. They've got 5 to 10 agents, what they call long-running agents, dispatching, doing different tasks. And they are running overnight. I think one of the measuring sticks is, how long will this agent run before it stops, right? And so you can have long-running agents, you come back overnight, figure out what they did. I think right now, probably 10 is the limit, because you can only manage that chaos of a limited number of processes coming together. But I think that is the evolution that's coming. How do we orchestrate agents to orchestrate other ones? How do we get visibility to make sure they get what I want done? How do I express what I want on the other side of this stuff? Those are the challenges of today. It's no longer just about technology, it's how we engage with technology, what those interfaces are to make that effectively work.
I met a guy named Kanodia, and he was like, I'm the Indian guy that started outsourcing. This is a new kind of outsourcing.
Yeah, it is.
So you were a CS major, computer science major
Yeah.
at MIT. I think the Big 10 tech companies aren't hiring as many CS majors. There's like a holy shit moment right now for graduates. Do you recommend being fluent in CS? And what's your advice to the current generation that's graduating to help build a community where we all can be makers and thrive?
Look, I'm deeply empathetic. It's a moment of severe change, right? I think roles are being redefined. What we do, the jobs are changing dramatically. So there is that fear out there. At the same time, it can be very empowering. The tools now make it much easier to do things. I would encourage the next generation to lean into it, right? I think you can't hold back this change in innovation. I think it can be a dramatic shift, but I think how you actually get the chances, lean into it, learn the tools better, be the expert user, that's the fastest transformer out there, right? So I think we're gonna hit a bump, a little bit of a disruption here, but I'm a bull for this. On the other side of this, we can make more things, better things with these tools. And yes, the jobs will shift, but I think if you lean into it, you'll be on the other side of it. So that's what I say to the next generation here.
So you're a big shot leader in the tech world, helping to make other tech companies successful. What is something you've done in the last 24 months that's going to have a profound impact in the last 100 years?
Well, I hope the teams we build and the customers and partners we actually have are off doing more amazing things than I have. You said that company Endeca that I was with, I'm most proud of that experience, not just from what we did, but the diaspora of what everybody else did. I think our contribution to this as leaders is to enable others to be more successful. In order to do that, we have to make ourselves successful, make them successful, set the right table stakes, and teach them the way. They're going to do more amazing things. So I'm actually interested in the third derivative of the people that I get to interact with and see what they do. That's the legacy I hope we all leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, a tech leader, tech innovator, a guy kicking ass and taking names, very post-economic, but not on an island hanging out. He's leading a company that's going to chart the future for Boston. Andrew Lau!
Thanks, John.